We're going to have it available down the road for reference for folks too. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't necessarily take notes. We can make this video available to you later. There's somebody else that wants to come in here. A couple folks. And I may be interrupting to let more people in as we go along here. So keep that in mind. We're going to be talking about migraine headaches and how to eliminate them, what to do to get rid of them altogether. I'm Dr. Blair Masters. I'm a third-generation chiropractor and acupuncturist. I've been in practice for over 34 years. I've seen thousands and thousands of people who have migraine headaches and have very good results with those for sure. Let me... Great. The steps that we're going to be talking about today are going, if you implement those, they're going to get great results with your migraines. I'm really excited about this class. We at our office, like I said, I've been in practice 34 years. I have an amazing team of doctors and staff, but as we've gone along in treatment, I've seen these patterns recurring over and over and over again, especially in the last probably 15 years as diets have gotten worse. And we're going to be talking about a bunch of steps that you can take to improve migraines and really eliminate them altogether. By the end of the class today, we want you to understand the best options for eliminating your migraine headaches, understand the different causes of migraines, and empower you to take steps at home so you don't suffer with these things ongoingly. And then to understand that there are options other than just taking a stronger and stronger and stronger headache medication. There's lots of other options. And we're going to talk about the kind of philosophy that goes into getting rid of migraines like completely as well. I want to tell you a story about one of my recent patients. Her name is Maria, and last week we actually received some pictures of her daughter's wedding. They were really nice pictures of a wedding that she had participated in and helped plan for about 9 months before it actually occurred. And Maria's migraines were so bad that she thought that she wasn't going to be able to experience the joy of really helping her daughter plan her wedding. And she actually at certain times thought that she might not even be able to attend if she got unlucky and happened to have a migraine on the day that the wedding was planned for. They put her down. Her migraines really put her to bed kind of thing. So she was really worried about that. And that's when she came into our office. She'd been plagued with migraines for about 35 years after an automobile accident was kind of the thing that caused it to start to begin with. And her migraines weren't that frequent. She didn't have them that often, but like I said, they really kind of put her down when they came on. They were really pretty severe. Her migraines had increased in frequency as she really started having more responsibilities in planning for this wedding, and it became a real torment for her. It took her out of the planning of the wedding initially quite a bit until we got things under control and really helped guide her in ways to get them under control. But 9 months before the wedding, she came to our office and we introduced her to the treatments that we do here, but as well as the AcuSmart App. And the AcuSmart App, what that is it's kind of boiled down all the at-home procedures and treatments that I recommend to my patients to get rid of migraine headaches, as well as hundreds of other problems that people have. Migraines really are one of the most devastating health problems that a person can have. And if you're here participating in the class, then you know that. That's not something that I necessarily have to tell you, but the cause and effective treatment has really eluded most doctors. And as a result of that, their patients. And it's really allowed millions of people to suffer needlessly. What is required, I believe, to really get rid of migraines for good is kind of a change in the philosophy. And we're going to be touching on that in a number of different ways here today. But we call one of these philosophies the funnel of health. And so why would Maria's migraines get a lot worse when she started planning her wedding? And the body can adapt really well. We have massive adaptive capabilities. We really do. We can adapt to so many things, but when your ability to adapt becomes overwhelmed, then symptoms result. A good example of this is like somebody who's in their late middle age or maybe a little older, and they say, I'm going to take up my marathon running. And they start running, real regular. The body can adapt at the beginning, but their body's ability to adapt to that kind of pounding on a regular basis kind of falls apart, and they succumb to the pain. And in that kind of a case, they're a situation where that constant pounding is bothering their knees. Well, migraines are very similar, and it's not like running that bothers the migraines, but it's all the other things that cause people to go from being 100% healthy and be sucked down the funnel of health down in many cases, because migraines are severe. People want to get out of pain quickly. They're sucked down to this area where medications are prescribed, and then they stay here for the rest of their life. And they kind of suffer in this, oh, I've got migraines that come on once a month, or they come on more often than that. And it's a situation where they never really get back up to where they're 100% healthy. Each stress that Maria had forced her to adapt a little bit more and a little bit more, but those stresses pulled her down further. So how do you decide to approach your health really makes a huge, huge difference in regards to what kind of results that you're going to be getting. Why has the answer to fixing migraine headaches eluded many doctors? And I think it comes down to this medical philosophy. They want to find a drug that eliminates the pain. But if you don't find and eliminate the underlying cause of the pain, then the pain is going to come back again and again and again. If Tylenol really fixed the problem, then why would you ever buy the 325 count bottle? Why wouldn't you just stick with a 10 count, take one pill? Oh, my migraines are cured. I'm good. I don't have to take anymore. But because drug manufacturers want to keep the status quo, they don't want you to discover what is the actual underlying cause. They just want you to buy the bigger bottle and the bigger bottle. And then, well, oh, that's not working either. Let's go get a stronger prescription from my medical doctor, my family doctor, or something like that. And never again getting to the underlying cause. You're just in a situation where you're covering up the final trigger that caused your migraines to come on. Big Pharma really has its tentacles in all areas of our lives. I mean, it's in Congress, it's in the think tanks that do the research on drugs, it's in the foundations. They really have their tentacles in everything, and they advertise on television so much, and they really have altered the way that we think about health. So it's almost kind of like, oh, well, I never even thought about getting to the cause because I just take a medication to cover up the pain when it comes on. And that makes the drug companies a lot of money, but it doesn't help you improve your health and get rid of your migraine headaches. I love this, this little cartoon here. It's Big Pharma, and it says, here's your opioids. See you next week, and next week, and the next week, and the next week, and so on and so on. Because opioids and other painkillers, including migraine elimination drugs, never really do get to the cause of the problem. It started in 1928 with penicillin, and penicillin was really a miracle when it occurred. It got rid of a life-threatening infection that would have killed people, say pneumonia or something like that, would have killed people before they found penicillin. So it was truly a medical miracle at the time. But that's when this one pill, one problem philosophy was kind of born. And after that, the drug companies kind of figured out, my goodness, the market for these things is enormous, And if we can find pills that get rid of these pains, then we're in a situation where people will have to buy them over and over and over again. And it's not really a conspiracy, but it is a situation where the drug companies are following a business model that makes them a lot of money, but makes you in a situation where you're continuing to suffer and continuing to buy their products. So, and I don't want to bash big pharma too much here. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is to get rid of it, get rid of migraines. But I do want to kind of lay a foundation, because that's kind of the alternative philosophy that I tell people to kind of stay away from. And I'm not making you wrong if you try to eliminate your pain. There's nothing wrong with taking some of these medications to get rid of pain, but let's also find out what the underlying cause is so that pain doesn't continue to return over and over and over again. So let's kind of get into this. What are the causes of migraines? We're going to start with electrical pollution, your acupuncture system, electrical problems in your body. And we'll get into all of these here before the end. But acupuncture has been used for preventing migraines for thousands of years. Acupuncture and electro-acupuncture that you can easily do at home without needles at all is great for migraine treatment and migraine prevention. You avoid drugs and their side effects. You can perform it at a moment's notice anytime. Oh, I'm waiting in traffic. I'm going to stimulate a couple points. I'm watching television and I'm watching the news and catching the weather. I'm going to stimulate a couple points. And the acupuncture app, the AcuSmart app, reminds you to do this on a regular basis so that you can build on the previous treatment and the previous treatment so that you can see better and better and better results. Although Western and Chinese medicine, they both describe similar headache patterns, Chinese medicine really gets into more detail. And the points that we recommend in the AcuSmart app have really been handed down through generation to generation of acupuncturists over thousands of years. This is the picture you'll find in the AcuSmart app about migraine headaches. And these are all points that are classic for migraines. They are something that you can stimulate with a device that we send you if you sign up for the AcuSmart app. And we're going to talk about the 30-day migraine challenge, and the AcuSmart app is included in that. It's part of the bundle that we'll talk about at the end here. But if you live in the United States, we actually send it to you for free as well. There's no cost of shipping either. So why does acupuncture help migraines? It is really a classic problem that I see every day here in my office, and we see excellent results with in regards to the AcuSmart app, the gallbladder acupuncture system. And you'll hear me talk about gallbladder here in this presentation, but it comes up the back of the neck, goes over the top of the head to the forehead, comes back to the back of the neck, over the ear, up and down, and covers the whole head. So if you have problems with your gallbladder, then oftentimes you have problems with migraines. It's kind of classic. And I have a lot of patients who say, oh, well, I don't have a gallbladder. Well, they don't remove the gallbladder acupuncture system when they remove your gallbladder. And the fact that you had to have it removed to begin with is just confirmation that you have problems with this. Now, Maria, who is planning her daughter's wedding, she found some really pretty significant relief in stimulating her acupuncture points. The acupuncture meridians, they're channels that run all over the body. And you may have seen acupuncture mannequins that have these different channels on them. Acupuncture has been able to help thousands and thousands of different conditions over thousands of years, and has really helped millions of people. An imbalance in the liver and gallbladder can cause long-standing problems with emotions as well. And that's another part of the triad of health that we're going to talk about later, but it can cause problems with anger, resentment, frustration, irritability, and that's not helped by your acupuncture pain. And there's techniques to help get rid of this. Maria, it has more to her story. She not only received temporary relief from the stimulation of the points, she had some other things that were going on. We mentioned her car accident, but she also had some problems with her gallbladder. We'll show you here in a little bit. But what else was wrong with her? Why did she have problems with her gallbladder? We'll get into all of these things and kind of work on solving the mystery of her case. And I'm hoping that you can take that information and apply it to you as well. So let's get into this a little bit further. Let's talk about toxins. Toxins are huge when it comes to migraine headaches. It is a commonly known trigger, and many people are in a situation where they're like, oh, well, you know, avoiding triggers is the way to avoid migraines. And that may be a good approach, but you have to basically understand why that trigger is causing the problem. It's because your body's adaptive abilities have been overwhelmed. If you're in a situation where you intake problems, toxins into your body, or your body produces them, and both of those things occur, it can be from cigarette smoke, mold exposure, monosodium glutamate, aspartame, other food additives. These are all things that are well-known triggers, and avoiding those are great. But the trigger is only the last part of the problem that triggered the migraine. And if you only ever work on your triggers, you never really get to the underlying cause. I'm starting to sound like a broken record here, aren't I? There's a lot of migraine causing toxins in the body. If you're interested in this, this is a fascinating subject. Russell Blaylock wrote a book called Excitotoxins, The Taste That Kills. And he talks about all the food additives that are in our everyday foods that are seriously bad for you. And many of these are actually so bad for you that they stimulate the nerve cells in your brain to death. In other words, they stimulate them so much that the nerve wears itself out and just dies. So really something that you want to avoid. Consuming these is really bad for you, and they're in lots and lots of things. These are some examples here, other examples here and here. They're in many, many of the foods that we eat on a regular basis. But eliminating these intake for 2 weeks, if you eliminate them for 2 weeks, see what kind of difference you have in your migraines. It can make a huge, huge difference. Toxins and the liver. We're going to go back to the liver, and the liver and gallbladder are linked systems. They work together to help detoxify your body. The liver normally removes and breaks down drugs and chemicals from your bloodstream. Breaking down toxins causes byproducts that can damage the liver. And many of the situation where there's byproducts the liver can't detoxify, it tries to get rid of them out of your body through the gallbladder. This is a common exit strategy for the liver, but that can clog up your gallbladder. And we already talked about how the gallbladder meridian relates to migraines. We'll show you more about that here in a little bit. The liver has a huge capacity to regenerate, but if there's a constant exposure to toxins, and some of this can be coming from your own intestinal tract, it can cause irreversible harm. It really can cause tons of problems. One of the things that we recommend to detoxify the body is what's called a liver cleanse. And this you'll find in the AcuSmart app. This goes into great detail on it here. I'm not going to go into the exact steps on this. It is something that you will see a huge difference with. I have had people do this and come into me the next day and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much better that I feel with this. I've had people improve their skin. I've had people improve their attitude, their migraines for sure. I've had lots of people do this cleanse here and eliminate their migraines altogether. Maria performed a liver cleanse and she saw massive changes in both the severity and the frequency of her migraines. And you can see why this white here, this is one of those white picnic plates. These are the gallstones that she got out. Oh, I'm going to admit Cindy here. She is wanting to come in and participate as well. So welcome, Cindy. I'm glad you were able to make it for sure. There's one more in the waiting room. Nope, she's here. So great. Great. These are the gallstones that Maria got out of her body when she performed a liver cleanse. She showed me one of these. This one down here is actually 2 centimeters, which is about that big. I really think that not only did we help her migraines, but we probably saved her from having gallbladder removal surgery in the future at some point. Although she didn't complain of her gallbladder, I can't imagine she felt good with this many gallstones in her gallbladder. Really, really horrible. And if it has this, that system cannot function properly, and that causes her acupuncture system to not function properly, and that can contribute to migraine headaches as well. So she had lots of factors that are stacked on top of each other, and what we needed to start doing was removing those factors that were causing her problem. There's no silver bullet when it comes to health. There just isn't. I wish there was. I really, really do. It would make life so much easier, but there isn't a silver bullet, particularly as it relates to migraines. You've got to eliminate the causes, and usually there's not one cause. Usually it's multiple causes that are stacked on top of each other. And this is because of the adaptive ability. Our bodies are so good at adapting to the stresses that we put them under, but they can only adapt so long. And when their ability to adapt is overwhelmed, then migraines are often the result. But I keep asking questions. Where did Maria's gallstones come from? This wasn't even the underlying cause of her problem. There was something else that she had that I'll show you here in a minute that was causing this. And this was contributing to her migraines. So we had to eliminate this from another part of her body as well. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. Another thing that many people run into is excessive migraine medication use can really almost have a rebound effect. I'm going to admit Robin here as well. Great. Okay, perfect, perfect. If you take migraine medications on a regular basis, it can actually cause toxicity in the liver, which can contribute to more migraines. It's called a rebound effect with, there we go. It's actually caused a rebound effect, or medication overuse headaches are the exact name of it. And as the name implies, these headaches are the result of taking too much pain medication too often, and it actually toxifies the body and causes significant problems. People most at risk for this are people who have migraine headaches, whose headaches don't really respond well to medications to begin with. So they're most likely to take more and get toxic overload from the medications themselves. We're going to switch to another part of the triad of health, and that is nutrition. This ended up being another one of Maria's big underlying causes. Nutrition, good, the bad, and just the absent. Has to do with what you eat, what you drink, vitamins you take, hormones, infections, and prescriptions. Migraines and diet have tons of connections, and the standard American diet causes inflammation in the body. It's very pro-inflammatory. It's rich in processed foods and meats, and it's really low in vegetables. So it's got lots of calories, lots of toxins, lots of empty calories like carbohydrates. It causes lots and lots of problems. So it is a situation where if you're eating anywhere near a standard American diet, then it is very likely to contribute to problems with your health. A couple of these, and one of the major contributors to Maria's migraines, the underlying cause that didn't contribute directly, but it was an indirect cause, was Candida infection, and then her omega-3 fatty acid imbalance. And I'll talk about both of those here in a second. Omega-3/6 imbalance is a major cause of disease, not just migraines, but disease in general. excess omega-6s, which primarily come from grain-based foods like bread, pasta, cereal, tortillas, chips, anything deep fried is going to be grain-based, really causes a chemical cascade that creates inflammation, pain, arthritis, as well as migraines. I've got a couple more folks who are trying to get in here. Let me let them in. And they're joining. I hope they didn't miss out on too much here, but we will try to catch everybody up best we can with things. There we go. Perfect. If you're eating a normal, healthy diet, then you should be in a situation where you have a ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s on a 1-to-1 ratio. Some say 1-to-4 ratio, depending on the study that you're reading. But the standard American diet causes a ratio of about 1-to-24 in the body. And this has some significant negative effects. Let me tell you about my wife. This was a number of years ago, before we were ever in a situation where we really knew about eating the way that we eat now. We recommend a Paleolithic diet, which I go into great detail on that in the app, as well as the ebook that you'll be receiving because you're here at this class. But we ate a healthy diet, okay? We ate 9-grain bread. We had lots of good vegetables. We ate good pasta that had like spinach added to it and that sort of thing. But we ate bread on a regular basis. We ate all the things kind of in a standard American diet, but the healthy type, the healthy versions. Okay. It was pretty normal, but we got our body tested. Both of us did. And I took fish oil because I knew the benefits of it. She didn't like the taste, so she kind of avoided that. And let Stacy in here too. She kind of avoided taking fish oil because she didn't like some of the side effects to it, which you can burp kind of a fish taste sometimes, depending on the type that you take. But her ratio was 1-to-29. And she didn't have migraine headaches, but she had wrinkles. She had like pain. She had pretty significant pain sometimes. And when we got her ratio back to closer to 1-to-1, which she's very close, I think she's 1-to-3 right now, it really made a huge difference in regards to her health overall. If you're in a situation where you have inflammation in your body, this is just one more of those things. I talked about the funnel of health. It's one more of those things that's dragging you down to the funnel to less and less health. So you want to lower inflammation in your body as much as you possibly can. I'm going to let somebody else in here. This is why eating grain-based foods is so bad for you. It has linoleic acid. This comes from corn, cottonseed oil, sunflower seed, safflower seed, peanut oil, soybean oil, canola oil. All of these they go through this chemical cascade and turn into various other chemicals in the body, but they end up at this chemical called prostaglandin E2. And prostaglandin E2 causes pain and inflammation. They've related it, say it causes inflammation of your blood vessels. They've related it to vascular disease, heart disease. It can cause problems with stroke in the brain. They found it's related to degenerative joint disease. They found it's related to fibrosis in the body. It's related to pain, including migraine headaches. And what do most people do when they have pain? They take some kind of a drug that helps block this. And most of them are called COX-2 inhibitors. COX inhibitors block this right here, and then it doesn't turn into prostaglandin E2, and it's a situation where you won't have the pain. But what occurs with this is it backs up and causes a different chemical called leukotriene B4, which actually creates heart disease. Vioxx is the most classic example of this. Vioxx used to be on the market, and it was sold by prescription through the doctors. But Vioxx, because of this pathway, killed more people between 2004 and 2009 when it was on the market than the Vietnam War did in 10 years. Killed thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And they pulled that thing off the market quick because it killed so many people. Messing with this in this way is really bad for you. What else do people do when they're in a situation where they have pain? They take Tylenol. That's another thing. But Tylenol in our modern society is the #1 cause of liver disease. And we already talked about how important the liver and the gallbladder and liver toxins are to the body, and how if you're in a situation where you take this on a regular basis, because you have so many migraines, you're going to have rebound migraines as well. It can really create some toxicity. I had a patient once who he actually didn't have migraines, he had cancer, and he had bone cancer, he was in tons of pain, and he actually got better when he stopped taking his Tylenol. He had less pain when he stopped taking his Tylenol because of this process. Really horrible story, but anyway. So I hope everyone out there is taking omega-3 fatty acids in the form of fish oil. It really helps, but how much should you take? If you have no chronic problems whatsoever, I don't have any diseases at all, no pain, then take 3 to 4 grams. That's 3 to 4,000 milligrams. If you're overweight, obese, you have type 2 diabetes, or before starting a weight loss program, we recommend between 5 and 7,000 milligrams a day. Or if you have chronic pain, including migraine headaches, we recommend 7 to 10,000 milligrams a day. Or if you have a neurological disorder like Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, that can create this. This has been linked to Alzheimer's as well. Then you should take 10,000 milligrams a day. That's a lot. Usually when the dosages get this big, I usually recommend taking a liquid. I'm lazy. I take fish oil every day, but I'm really kind of lazy with it. I just go by the fridge twice a day and take a big gulp. I don't even measure it out. But the last time I checked my ratio was 1 to 2. I had a 1 to 2 ratio of 1 omega-3s for every 2 omega-6s. So I'm 57 years old and I feel good pretty much every day. I really do. I don't have chronic pain. I don't have any, and I exercise on a regular basis. There's just all sorts of benefits to taking this fish oil on a regular basis, including migraine elimination. We talked about Candida, and not only did Maria have an imbalance in her omega-3s, omega-6s, but she also had a Candida overgrowth. And I'll talk about why that's important here in a second. I like this graphic. I use this on a regular basis. Here's the intestinal tract here, and they pulled part of it out, and they're showing the good side and the bad side. On the good side, there's trillions and trillions of these good bacteria, the probiotics that you should have, that coats the intestinal tract, and these create B vitamins for us. They help us out in so many ways. They help us with digestion. They help us with making sure food doesn't get absorbed before it should. But Maria, she was over on this side. She was in a situation where she had kind of a poor diet. She had an overgrowth of Candida. Candida is basically a yeast overgrowth that has started to colonize in here and set up housekeeping inside your intestinal tract. Now, Candida is a form of yeast. And what do you add to grape juice if you want to make wine? You add yeast. Well, it creates this toxin that is known as alcohol, and that's how wine is made. And there's different yeasts make different toxins in the body. But what if you're in a situation where you have these toxin-producing organisms lining your entire intestinal tract, producing toxins that get absorbed into your bloodstream? This blood, all this blood from the intestines, its first stop is the liver. And the liver's job is to detoxify it. But if every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you're getting these toxins dumped into your blood, your liver says, I can't do it anymore. it starts to dump things into the gallbladder. This is when you start to see gallstones, and when it starts to affect your gallbladder meridian, which causes migraines, like I discussed previously. This was a big part of what Maria was suffering from, was a Candida overgrowth that she didn't even know she had until she came to our office. If you have migraine headaches, I tell people to pretty much assume that you have this. I was just going to digress just for a second and talk about gummies. Man, gummies are really horrible for you. If you take gummy vitamins, you should just stop. This is a quote from Dr. Morad. He says, quote, "It's like eating Halloween candy 365 days a year. In the midst of the greatest epidemic of childhood and adult obesity that our country has ever seen." Basically, these are just candy with a little bit of nutrition thrown in. It's really horrible for you. Last year, gummy vitamins were the fastest growing supplement segment. You know, people want to feel, I'm going to let Vicky in as well here. People want to feel that they're doing something for their health. And gummies is a really good way to make you feel better, but it doesn't really help solve your health problems. It's a situation where if you're taking gummies and trying to get some nutritional value out of them, you're better off not taking them at all because of the sugar content. It's really horrible for you. So what else should you take? I recommend a couple different vitamins. I recommend everybody take vitamin D on a daily basis. Most people don't get nearly enough sun exposure. Most people have jobs that are inside. If you have dark skin, it's actually harder for your body to produce vitamin D. I recommend, and the Mayo Clinic recommends 5,000 international units a day at a minimum. That's a minimum dose. Most people need more than that. And I would recommend getting your blood tested. Next time you go to your doctor, get your blood tested and say, hey, do a vitamin D test as well. I recommend an adrenal support. Your adrenal glands are little glands that sit above your kidneys, and their big job is to help you handle stress. If your adrenal glands are in trouble and your body's under stress, you'll produce all sorts of hormones that cause tons of problems, but you also won't heal well. You won't adapt to stress well. Stress adaptation is the big job of the adrenals. There's a company called NutriWest out of Wyoming that produces this vitamin called DSF, and you can get it on the internet. It is great for supporting your adrenal glands. I recommend everybody take probiotics. You want, when you look at the label, you want the number of live organisms in the billions, and you want at least 6 strains, probably more. The number of strains is the number of different types of bacteria that are in there. These are the good bacteria that you should be taking on a regular basis. But even if you take all of this and don't have a good diet, it is going to overwhelm your body still. You can't take enough vitamins to make up for a diet that is negative for you. One of the reasons that we recommend staying away from grains, they've done studies on wheat in particular. Let me let Lydia in here as well. They have done studies on wheat in particular and found that wheat actually blocks the absorption of many vitamins and nutrients. So we recommend really staying away. Okay, great. We recommend really staying away from any kind of grain-based foods, not only because it blocks the absorption of good nutrients, but it also has high in omega-6 fatty acids, which are pro-inflammatory. It also has high, most grains are really pretty high in carbohydrates, which causes Candida issues we discussed previously. There's just hardly any redeeming qualities to grains. Water, oh man, this is one of those things that you can do that is a really, really easy step to take that can have a significant effect on headaches, migraine headaches in particular. There's tons of dangers to dehydration. It is a major contributing factor to migraines. If you're drinking like coffee or switching to caffeinated sodas later in the day, there is a major diuretic effect. And what that means is you have to urinate out more fluids than you're actually taking in the beverage that you're consuming. So your body tends to dehydrate over time with this sort of thing and can cause major problems with all sorts of things, including migraine headaches. What we recommend is take your body weight in pounds and divide it by 2, and that's how many ounces of water that you should drink on a regular basis, on a daily basis. So say you're 200 pounds, split that in half, so there's 100 ounces, and that's how much water you should drink every day. That is a detoxifying amount of water, but most people with migraines are having problems with toxins anyway. So it'll take some getting used to consuming that many ounces of water, but the benefits are definitely there. This one factor can pull you down the funnel of health and make you in a situation where you're on a regular basis having migraines, just this one thing. So, and it's so easy to fix, so easy to fix. Let's talk about structure. And structure is an issue for many people who have migraines. AcuSmart works great. AcuSmart, our app that goes along with the migraine challenge, it's part of the bundle that we're offering. We'll talk about that at the end, but it works great in a lot of areas, including your acupuncture system, your diet. It has lots for emotional health as well as detoxification, but you've got to consider your bones and your joints and your muscle and your ligaments and tendons and this sort of thing. Stretching, exercise, and with migraines, many times chiropractic care will give you a significant improvement in your structural health. Chiropractic gets really excellent results with migraines. Bones are really made to move, and if they're not moving properly, it can affect nerves that cause problems with whatever's at the end of that nerve. If those nerves are pinched in this upper part of the neck, these nerves actually go back up to the head and can cause problems with migraines. This sometimes is a major factor. We talked Maria, she actually was in an automobile accident way back 35 years ago. And this was one of the things that set off her journey of having migraines. And she never really got it taken care of until she came to our office. She suffered for 35 years. She was pretty healthy before the accident happened, but because the accident occurred, she jumped down and started taking medications right off the bat and stayed in this area of the funnel for 35 years. So she was suffering down here for many years, decades really, without ever getting to the underlying cause of her problem. But we were able to help her with changes to her diet, get her off medications, and really help her struggle back up to being close to 100% healthy. So that's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a health philosophy that supports you. Chiropractic adjustments reduce joint restriction and misalignment in the spine that can contribute to inflammation of those nerves that we discussed. By increasing the mobility through chiropractic, but also exercise, stretching, that sort of thing, it improves your nervous system, and that can help lower your chances for having problems with migraines. So if you decide to take our 30-day migraine challenge and you don't live locally here, and you get to the end of that and you're like, oh, you know, I'm better, but I'm still having problems, then I usually recommend seeing a chiropractor at that point for sure. Let's talk about allergies and sensitivities. This kind of goes back to diet as well, but it's a significant factor. A recent PubMed study, PubMed is the United States government's kind of conglomeration of all the medical studies. It's all kind of found in one place. And I think it's pubmed.gov is what I believe it is. If you want to, I would encourage you to go online and do your own research with this for sure. But they had 60 migraine patients. They completed an elimination diet. After a 5-day period of withdrawal from a normal diet, they saw a dramatic fall in the number of headaches per month. It was significant, this particular study. 85% of patients who did this elimination diet became headache-free. Well, you'd say, well, why is that? It's just diet. Well, diet can have some significant negative effects on you or positive, either way. One of the most common foods that cause reactions, we talked about this in the past, is wheat. 78% of people have some kind of reaction to wheat. And there's lots of reasons for that. The omega-6s, the sugar in it, the gluten, there's lots of reasons for that. Oranges, eggs, tea and coffee, chocolate, milk, dairy products in general are troublesome when it comes to allergies. Beef, corn, cane sugar, and yeast all were things that the body reacts to in a negative way when you consume it, which is considered an allergy. This is another thing that causes inflammation. Now, here's part of the problem. Let's say that inflammation occurs in the blood vessels of your body, and you're not even really aware of it. But many people consume wheat several times a day. So they may never be in a situation where they're aware of how they feel without it. They go their whole life consuming wheat every day. So they never know, oh, well, I feel better when I don't eat wheat, unless they do some kind of elimination diet, that sort of thing. There's other allergens too: dust, fungus, animal dander, pollen, and then food additives we talked about. They've been proven to bring on migraine headaches. Reducing or eliminating these allergens have been shown to reduce migraines, but you got to ask the question, well, why is that? And the big answer is like inflammation. We talked about how the prostaglandin E2 causes inflammation, but allergens is your body, basically your immune system, kicking in and creating inflammation as well. And it's this chain reaction to really try to protect your body from the allergen, but it creates inflammation. And when you have several factors that are creating inflammation that are stacked on top of each other, we've talked about the stacking effect that occurs that weighs you down and pulls you down the funnel of health. If it's stacked on top of an omega-3/6 imbalance and a Candida infection and a misalignment here and an imbalance in your gallbladder acupuncture system, all of these things eventually overwhelm your body's ability to adapt and causes problems with migraines. This shows how inflammation can cause capillary widening. If those capillaries are in your brain, you're likely to get migraines. Increased capillary permeability, so fluid comes through and actually the white blood cells can migrate into the tissues. It can cause this cascade of problems that inflammation really can get worse and worse and worse and worse. So continuing with the why question, inflammation causes migraine pain and really kind of all kinds of pain. As you start with pain from whatever source, an injury, or you eat something bad, or you have a problem with the gallbladder system, whatever it is. But that creates muscle tension, and that creates reduced circulation, and then muscle inflammation, and then reduced movement, which causes more pain, and you get in this really bad cycle. And some people never get out of this cycle. They try to break the cycle with maybe a painkiller or something like that. And like I said, that's okay, but we've got to get to the underlying cause of the migraine headaches and eliminate that so that it doesn't come back on you over and over and you're suffering on a regular basis. Emotions. This is one of those categories that some people consider kind of weird and oh, well, that's not something that I'm going to deal with. But there are tons of techniques that you can use on a regular basis that help emotional patterns improve and sometimes can be eliminated. There's a physical response to emotional situations. They begin this cascade of neurological, then hormonal, then energetic, and I mean acupuncture here, acupuncture system energy, that affects that set up this faulty stress response that your body gets into this kind of pattern where it also sees things that are, let me let one more person in here. These faulty emotional patterns can result in recurring pain over and over and over again. And eventually these faulty patterns can cause pretty significant health problems. I see this in the office on a regular basis. The AcuSmart app and this 30-day migraine challenge have techniques and methods that you can implement that will get rid of these negative emotional patterns that can create so many problems. And this is one of those things that you don't have to tell anybody about it. You don't have to talk to a psychologist. These are at-home steps that you can take. So it's not something that you necessarily need to visit the doctor for, unless that is a situation where you've got something structural, which we discussed previously. Fight or flight stress response. Repeated stresses really take a toll on your body. They really do. Research shows that chronic stress can contribute to high blood pressure, clogged arteries, brain changes, actual changes in how your brain processes information. And that can result in migraines, anxiety, depression, obesity, addiction. These are all factors that go back to your emotional responses to previous stresses, that if you can eliminate those, it's like taking more weight off so you can pull yourself back up the funnel of health and be healthier, not experience migraines. Studies have shown that chronic physical pain can be caused by stress and emotional issues. They've found this over and over and over again. You need to find and implement techniques and methods into your life that will help get rid of these. And some people say, oh, emotion, I don't want to deal with that. That's too painful. That's something that I'm going to sit over to the side and just kind of ignore. But really, the dragon guards the gold. If you want a reward by getting rid of your migraines, you've got to go fight the dragon oftentimes. And for some people, emotions are their dragon that they have to fight. For some people, it's their diet. I'm addicted to food. For some people, I have this kid, he's a patient, and he's frustrating to me because he has migraine headaches. And I've recommended to him practically every time I see him, I've half given up now, but practically every time I see him, I recommend a liver cleanse. Do a liver cleanse, do a liver cleanse. His parents have hauled him around to specialists, to St. Louis and a lot of other places. And he told me on a visit about a month ago, he said, the migraines are getting so bad, I'm contemplating suicide. And I said, hold on a second. Have you done a liver cleanse? And he said, no, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. It's not something that I want to do. And I said, okay, so you're telling me that basically you'd rather kill yourself than do a liver cleanse. That's where his dragon is. And based on the test I've done, I'm convinced that he's in a situation where he has that as a major contributing factor and he's never addressed it. So you've got to address the problems that your body has and not just address the ones you want to address that are easy. This is one technique that you'll find in the AcuSmart app that addresses emotional issues. This is called dynamic consciousness repatterning. And it is a technique that you can stimulate acupuncture points. These show needles in. I'm just showing where the points are, but you stimulate them by tapping them. And this uses acupuncture to internalize the positive emotions that you're trying to reprogram into your brain. And there's a whole technique, and we got lots of videos on how to do this and go into great detail on it. But the AcuSmart app gives you techniques and methods that you can use that will help get rid of migraines for good when you start really knocking off those stresses that you're having as emotional patterns. All the functions of the body interconnect, and you can't really divide and conquer. You can't say, oh, well, I'm going to work on this and ignore the rest. You've got to, if you really have a significant health problem, you've got to take significant steps to help that health problem. One or two things aren't going to do it. I wish there was a silver bullet. Oh, man, if I had a silver bullet, I would give it out. I would hand it out to people. But there is no silver bullet in healthcare. There really isn't. There's no pill that is going to change your diet. There's no pill that is going to eliminate migraines forever or get rid of cancer. These are lifestyle changes that need to be made to really make health problems that stick. So let me give you some do's and don'ts. Don't skip steps. All of these steps have been found to contribute to migraines. And if you skip some of them, it's kind of like not addressing certain problems that you don't want to address. And you may put some off for later, but don't skip steps. Make sure that you cover all your bases. Perform a liver cleanse. This is less than 24 hours. It's not even 24 hours. You got to schedule it when you are near the bathroom. And that's what the gallstones that I showed you earlier were all about. But this has shown to help significantly. I've had people come in the next day and say, that got rid of my migraines altogether. I'm feeling so good after that. Commit to the diet, because diet is a major underlying cause of all health problems, not just migraine headaches. And this is one of those things that you can really make a huge difference with. I'm going to let Shirley in here. Make a huge difference with your health by just changing what you put in your mouth. Work on the emotions. We talked about how to do that using the AcuSmart app. Stimulate your acupuncture points. This is one of those things that you can just fit into your daily life and do that on a regular basis. You will see differences when you start knocking down all of these problems. You'll see major, major differences in your health. Don't cheat, because cheaters never win. Don't think, oh, I'll only eat a little bit of that and I'll be okay. Well, at the beginning, especially, you need to really, really commit and be 100% committed to particularly the diet. Man, diets are hard. They really are. What's the first three letters of the word diet? Is die. People think they're going to die when they change their diet, but that's not the case. You'll actually improve your health in many cases. Apply the try to health philosophy, because you can apply it to more than just migraines. You can apply it to every part of your life. And we go into great detail about how to do this in the AcuSmart app. And then love your body more than you love those unhealthy foods. And then you'll learn to love the healthy foods too. I couldn't go back to eating badly. I couldn't. I just, I feel horrible. It doesn't taste good to me, that sort of thing. This is the try to health. Those are the 6 things that we talked about previously. And when Maria really understood this philosophy and started to approach her health based on this philosophy, she was able to see a complete resolution of her migraines. She got rid of them altogether because she approached it from a holistic standpoint that this philosophy allows you to. Health problems are rarely caused by one problem. Mute there. Health problems almost never are the result of one thing. That's kind of the silver bullet that we talked about previously. And you can't usually only address one area and get rid of health problems, especially if it's significant. Migraines and most other health problems have many contributing factors, including disease-promoting lifestyles that many people in our modern society participate in. If you can identify and eradicate these causes, which we try to help you do during this migraine 30-day migraine challenge and using the AcuSmart app, you'll truly be cured and the migraines won't return. They won't require this ongoing treatment and the ever bigger bottle of Tylenol that we talked about previously. Maria, when she came into us, she was really desperate to get her migraines under control. And when she understood this funnel of health and the triad of health philosophy, she really started to apply it to improving her migraine. She was kind of unstoppable. She could see the results. She could start to see the results when she stimulated her points. She performed a liver cleanse. She did some of those things early in her treatment, and she got excited about it. So she really doubled down on the diet and started eating a good diet. She got rid of her Candida infection. And then we worked on her structure with exercise and chiropractic care. And she changed her emotional patterns by applying some of these techniques at home that we taught her. And she was able to really enjoy her daughter's wedding, but she also saw improvement in all aspects of her health and her life. Her physical, emotional, and spiritual health all improved. And she was able to really improve her family's health as a result of that as well. And by doing that, she helped us at AcuSmart in our goal of bringing wellness to the world. She was seriously motivated because she had a wedding coming up. But I really need to ask you, what would make you seriously motivated? She decided to take real action to help improve her health. What would cause you to take action? What are those things that you want in your life that you can't have because migraines are getting in the way? And use those to motivate yourself, to push yourself forward and really eliminate your migraines once and for all. And because there are ways that you can do it. The AcuSmart app is part of that. This is included in the 30-day migraine elimination challenge that we are going to be talking about here in a second. It's in the App Store or Google Play Store. If you get a free electro-acupuncture device with it, and if you live in the United States, we'll even ship it to you for free. That's all included. What is this app? You have access to 14 different questionnaires that really give us a good idea of what your health is. There's more than 100 symptom protocols that help. You could type in, and I got it right here. Type in migraines and look up what's wrong with you and how to stimulate it. I showed you the picture of what you would see when you do that earlier. There's hundreds of learning center videos and information that you can access. And this is all, and a bunch of ebooks that go along with it, all for $17.49 a year, but that is included in the price of the 30-day challenge if you decide to do that. AcuSmart we have a digital migraine elimination course. It's the 30-day challenge, and we've actually have made some changes to it since I wrote this. There's going to be 30 emails. There's written tutorials, videos, lots of videos, step-by-step guide to eliminating your migraines. We'd sit down, if you decide to participate in the challenge, we sit down for a 1-hour one-on-one consultation over Zoom like this, and we talk about your history, what you've tried in the past, steps that you can take to eliminate your migraines. You also get the app as part of that, and the free electro-acupuncture stimulation device. And then there's lots of ebook downloads. There's another thing that I've added in since this, and that is an hour consultation with my wife. My wife is a nutrition coach, and she would talk to you about changing your diet, especially as it relates to eliminating migraines. There's a 7-day guarantee. If the first 7 days you're like, in looking this over, this doesn't look like it's for me, we'll give you a complete refund. So there's no risk to you. If you came into my office and this was a one-on-one, we're working on you on a regular basis to get rid of your migraines, the cost would be probably around $2,500, around in there. But and most of that is stuff that I tell people to do at home. Work on your emotions at home, work on the liver cleanse at home, work on stretches and exercises at home, work on your diet. I can't go around telling people, don't eat that, don't eat that. This is stuff that people have to do at home. And I saw these patterns. And so we put it in a digital 30-day course to help you eliminate your migraines without ever having to go to the doctor. And it's $299 when you enroll today. I was going to tell you something about that, though. Since we scheduled this a week ago yesterday, we actually had a tornado hit my office. And you can see there's some tiles missing. And if I showed you around, you'd be like, oh my gosh, that place is a wreck. We're open for business again, but a lot of my office is not usable. And as a result of that, there isn't going to be a place that you can enroll today. We're going to send you an email later. We didn't get that part done, so I apologize for that. But that's part of the tornado, and that's just the way it goes. But you'll have the opportunity to do this. I didn't want to cancel. I thought about canceling this, but we decided to push forward and make sure that we got the information out to people. But it's basically a special promotion that we're having because it's the first time we've offered it in a digital format, and you decided to attend today. So take advantage of the special pricing. We're giving away a number of ebooks that go along with that, the AcuSmart app, a 1-hour consultation with me, and a 1-hour consultation with my wife. That's basically all included in a bundle for this price. So I hope I've answered everybody's questions that they have. there's really not any reason to wait. You could wait another year and suffer for another year, but there's so many steps that you can take, or you could decide to do this and be migraine free next year at this time, or even sooner. If you commit to this, many people see elimination of migraines within 30 days. I see that on a regular basis. You never know how long it will take to become healthy, so you should really start now. Be persistent and don't cheat on the diet. That's the thing that I see most people cheat on, and it really doesn't pay dividends. All your efforts are going to be worth it in the end when you're like, yeah, I used to have migraines, but I got rid of those. I was able to get rid of those. And then you can help others as well. When you know that these kind of things can be done, you can spread the word and help us at AcuSmart bring wellness to the world, which is really our goal. I appreciate everybody joining today. We're going to be sending you an email that has a link to where you can sign up, and we will go from there. I'm going to try to go through and answer any questions that people might have.
No, but you might open the floor up.
Okay, so
open the sound, turn everybody's sound back on if you want to ask questions, but people have wanted the presentation, which I'll just.
okay, and we're going to be sending the presentation to folks. Sorry, I got the glare going on there. I'm trying to unmute folks here. If you want to ask any questions, I'm happy to hang around and answer any questions that come up. If not, I really appreciate everybody participating, and I hope that you found it valuable, and I hope to work with you in the future. Let me see here. Ask all to unmute. There we go. So if anybody has any questions, if not, then that is great. And I hope that it was valuable information for everybody. Okay. Well, real good. Again, thank you for participating, and you'll be getting an email from us shortly that will give you more steps that you can take. So thanks.